Now, Team South Africa did excellently at the Rowing World Championships, which took place in Amsterdam. There were 6 crews that represented South Africa, and joining us in studio now to chat more about it is the head coach, Roger Barrow. Thank you so much for speaking to us. Give us an idea of the team in competition. How well did we do?
Yeah, it was an amazing week for us. Having crews, 5 crews in the A finals and contesting medals is something different for us. Obviously, back in London, we had the 1-4 contesting the gold for a medal, but it was just an awesome week, and we started off with the heats, and we showed our form then, and it just got better and better.
Of course, James and John broke the South African record and went on to win a medal. Tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, they had a good first heat and on the Sunday to get through the first round, and they were only 6 seconds off the world record.
Wow.
And then they got through the quarters in the semi-final. And then coming into the final, we were up against the favourites, the French, the Norwegians. And, you know, John and James have just grown in so much confidence since London and their ability to sprint on the line, and they didn't fail again. And they actually broke the world record. So it was a new world best time of rowing 6:05, breaking the existing record by 3 seconds. So it was a great result for those two.
Of course, they took part in the Olympic Games as before in a boat. Now it's 2 of them. Where did the change happen?
Last year we tried to continue with the 4 with Lawrence and Glorville and newcomer Mike Foreman, and they achieved a 6th position at the World Champs last year. Then, you know, Lawrence and Glorville's had quite a few injuries this year. Mike Foreman wasn't on form. So I thought, let's try another boat.
Yeah.
And there are only 2 boat classes in the Olympics for lightweight men, being the lightweight 4 and a lightweight double. And we really exceeded ourselves in this performance because it's a total different discipline. You've got to hold 2 oars compared to 1. And I know rowing sounds like rowing to the normal people, but it's really a skill set that's different. And we were surprised. Back in Lucerne in July, they were only 13th in the world, and I changed a few things in the crew, and they managed to pull it off. But it also shows the ability of James and John. They are amazing oarsmen. Was
it quite difficult for them to adapt at first?
In the beginning, it was quite difficult, especially in the higher rates in racing, and the confusion of holding 2 oars, and just having the ability and the confidence to race with it. When we were at racing that week, they had a good heat. When the wind picked up quite a lot in the headwind, they struggled a bit to hold the oars and be confident, and that's why they only squeaked into the final. But then in the tailwind conditions and the confidence they have, and I think the rest of the world are getting fearsome when a South African crew is with the length, with 250 metres to go. They're almost in danger because we're known to sprint really well, and that's how the race unfolded.
Tell us a bit about some of the other crews and how well they did, and maybe some of the youngsters that are up and coming and to watch.
Yeah, I mean, the goal for Rio is to have 4 crews and really to try and deliver 4 medals. And this week we really showed that we have the ability. The other crew, Sean Keeling and Vincent Breert, who won a bronze medal. Sean was back in Beijing and came 5th, and he's 27 now. And we've paired him up with the young Vince Breert, who's studying at Harvard in America, and we bring him back when we need him. And you know, they are paired to watch for Rio, and they achieved 3rd. Then Kirsten McCann and Ursula Grobler in the women's side, they should have got back a medal, and they came 4th. And they were just unlucky in the last 100 metres where China rode through them. And then Leanne Pearce and Nadine Smith, they were 6th in the women's pair. And you know, those are 4 main boats for the Olympics. Our team is still very young. I mean, the average age of rowers who succeed normally are between 28 and 34, and our guys, our average age is 23, 24.
Fantastic.
So it's really nice. It's a close-knit family of us, of the guys that keep going and keep producing.
It's quite a sad story for rowing because you're doing so well on the international stage, but I mean, you don't have sponsors and you don't have government support necessarily, a lot of it for the sport. Do you think that people's eyes are now wide open since seeing you doing so well?
Well, you know, I thought after the Olympics and Olympic gold, we would have sponsors on our doors. And last year was my toughest year because nothing came. You know, SASCOC's really been good to us and looking after us from a funding point and sending us on tours. But it's so hard to know what else do we need to do. We have now a world best time. We've produced the result again of a world champion and another medal. And I really feel we can get 3 or 4 medals. And I don't know what more is to do. Maybe it's you know, I've sort of given to the fact that they only look at our big sports, rugby, cricket and football, and rowing is just a small sport. I know we don't have a lot of participation in South Africa, and I don't know the answer. Maybe one day someone will knock on the door and say, here you go, but I'm still waiting to see.
Well, we definitely hope so. A couple of months ago, we actually did a story on the para rowing team. Give us some insight into them. How have they been in competition this year?
So they were in competition with us. So we actually had 8 crews, and they also both made A finals. And so having 8 crews at the World Championships with 7 making A finals, Sandra Kamalo raced her heat and had to go through a repechage and came 6th in the A final. And she was in Beijing, and she's coming from strength to strength. And then we've got the LTA 4, which is 2 men and 2 women. With disabilities, and they were 4th just behind Italy. It was a bit of a disappointment because last year they got this bronze medal and they went a little bit backwards, but they're such an ambitious bunch and they train so hard, and I think they'll only get better and better. So as a whole, we were really chuffed with the whole team's performance at Amsterdam, and it's great taking on the big countries like Australia, America, Great Britain, who have so much resource and funding. And I think just being South Africans, nothing really scares us, and it's just so awesome to take everybody on.
What other events do you have planned for the rest of the year?
So this year we've got 3 weeks break. Our sport's a hard sport where the guys will start again on the 1st of October, and we train for 11 months solid every day, Monday to Sunday. And so we've got a bit of chill time, and then we'll start with our training. We go back to Lesotho, hopefully things settle there, back for our HAL 2 training camps in November. And then it's just about training and building up for next season. We've got no big international events. We don't travel a lot. We mainly do all our training at home. But from next year is Olympic qualifier, and that's always a scary time, as we've got to be top 10, 11 in the world to qualify. And once that's out, then we can really focus on Rio.